Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Morning Transplant Coffee Talk. I am your host, Steve Belcher. Thanks for joining us. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. I'm certainly am. And I also like to thank God for waking me up this morning. I would not be able to do these shows without God. So I like to thank Him for waking me up. So today we have a great show. I have a kidney warrior all the way from Suffolk County, New York. And I'm happy to share a story. Very positive lady, very nice. Even though I don't know her, but I see her on social media and I think she's a nice lady. So without further ado, Marianne Berna. How you doing, Marianne?
Excellent. How are you doing, Steve?
Okay. Thanks for coming on Sunday Morning Transplant Coffee Talk. Taking the time out to get up this early in the morning.
I'm honored.
Oh, thank you. So, how's the weather this morning?
It's actually autumn, 60 degrees, breezy, cool, hoodie weather.
You know what? It's ironic that you say that because we had that same weather this morning. I had to step outside and I said, wow, it's a little breezy. Feel like almost fall. The leaves seem like they starting to fall off the trees.
Exactly.
That's crazy. And we just finished going through a short summer.
Very short, unless we have an Indian summer.
And what's that? I never heard that before.
It's like autumn starts and then all of a sudden it becomes summer again for a week or two.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. So, Marianne, how does your journey start with kidney disease?
Steve, I had not a symptom in the world. I was having my disc, my lower spine disc replaced. So we had a surgery date, and the day before the surgery, I went for the pre-op testing, and they told me that I had a kidney infection. So they put me on antibiotics for 2 weeks, and then they did a biopsy and found out I was in stage 4 kidney disease. And
Wow.
within months, I went to stage 5 without a symptom.
So, when they told you this, did they tell you, or when the doctors informed you of this, did he tell you what you can do to slow the progression or how to maybe halt it as well?
Well, he did a biopsy and found out that the kidney failure was from Aleve, Motrin, Advil, because I didn't want to take narcotics for my spine pain, and that's what did me in was those pills.
Wait a
So,
minute. But how long were you taking them?
oh my goodness, so I couldn't even walk before the surgery, so I was taking them for close to a year.
All the time.
Twice a day, morning before work, and then when I would get home from work.
Wow. Are you serious? I mean, I know that these medications can cause kidney damage, but I never met anyone um, that experienced kidney damage from we call them NSAIDs, but
Right.
from those type of medications.
Absolutely. I mean, I had like there was no diabetes, no high blood pressure, no PKD, nothing in the family. And once he did the biopsy, it was strict, basically a leave. Even the Motrin, though, I hemorrhaged inside from it.
Really?
Yes, which was scary because I had 2 weeks before they called me for the transplant, I was hemorrhaging from the Motrin. And I got a transfusion, so I thought that would definitely throw off my odds of having the transplant. But my wait, they told me in New York, was 3 to 5 years. So I figured I signed for the transfusion, thinking it would be 3 to 5 years. But little did I know, they called me 7 weeks after getting on the list.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If I may ask you, you had mentioned something that just kind of, you had mentioned that you don't take pain medicine.
Well, I took it after transplant for 2 weeks.
Okay.
But
I'm,
back,
in,
like I have a very addicting personality.
well, that's what I was just going to ask you. Was it because of just you just don't want to take medicine, or that you were prone to that, so you just didn't want to? Because me myself is prone to addictive personality as well, so
Exactly.
I try to stay away from pain medication or anything like that. But okay, but on the flip side of that, you you had no idea, even though you thought you were doing the right thing by taking something like Mortrine or Aleve, but
Correct.
on the other side, you were slowly damaging your kidneys and not even knowing it.
Exactly. I mean, like I said before, hindsight is 2020. If I knew, I would have rather get addicted to the pain pills and went to rehab.
Right, right,
Instead, I chose that route, not to get into addiction, and this is what happened.
right. Well, you know what? I don't know your faith, Marianne, but I feel like things happen for certain reasons. And just sharing your story, this is the first story that we that I shared on any of these shows that I can remember that anyone's kidney disease was caused by, Mortrine or Aleve or those medicine. And that's real. And a lot of people, even though you don't commonly see that, it's real because it happened to you.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, when I first went to the nephrologist, he told me to bring any medications I took. As soon as he said the bottle to leave, because he had already seen my lab work, nothing else wrong. He said it. That right there is the culprit.
Uh-huh. Okay. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, your screen had froze up on me.
Oh,
Oh, okay, there you go.
okay.
You're back. I can see. Yeah. Wow. Um, so have you since then, have you spoken out against that far as medication such as that in kidney disease? Because would be a great spokesperson to let people know that, hey, if you're taking Aleve or Mortrin or any of these inside with ibuprofen in it, that this is what can happen.
I definitely am. And I also went to the Facebook page of Aleve in particularly, and I had made a post about that. And then the company itself reached out to me with a phone number to call them and talk to them. I haven't had a chance yet because I had so much happening, but I tell everybody, because you think you're doing the right thing with a over the counter drug,
Right.
but meanwhile, I mean, it slowly kills you and you don't even know it. I mean, now looking back, I did have a symptom, like I tired easily.
Sure.
But other than that, I mean, I was watching my grandson 6 days a week, a baby, like just a few months old, which is difficult. And I never stopped. I just watched him. I kept going. I kept going. And if I didn't go for those pre op tests, I'd have no clue.
Wow. So if anyone's watching this show, and if you have any of the stages of kidney disease, or if not, you got to be careful with these pain medications over the counter, like Motrin, Aleve, Advil, stuff like that. Probably the best to take, which is really not um, kidney toxic, is Tylenol, because that's the medication of choice for pain inside the dialysis unit. Okay, so when that happened and your kidneys failed, did they start you out in the hospital or you started out at a clinic?
Well, I refused to admit to myself that this was happening. So when he had asked me to put the fistula in, I totally ignored it. I because I felt well. And how it turned out is I had to have the emergency catheter put in. So they
Mm.
put me in the hospital, but I had to stay there for like 3 weeks feeling healthy until they got me in a clinic.
Oh, it wasn't out. They didn't have a chair for you.
No, they didn't have a spot. So, not understanding the situation, I escaped the hospital twice. I hate to even admit that, which made it worse because then I'd have to go back in through emergency to start dialysis. So I
Oh, so
shot,
you saying you left out of the hospital
yes, in the
within that 3 weeks?
I just snuck out in the middle of the night. And then I did start to feel sick. I was, filling with fluid.
Sure.
So I went back in through emergency. They put the chest catheter. Meanwhile, we put the fistula, which totally freaked me out because then I started researching and I seen like the bumps on the arm. And I mean, I don't know how my dialysis clinic dealt with me
Right, right.
because I was like really choosy and my techs and my nurses. And I was a pain in the neck too.
No, but me working in well, I used to work in dialysis for as long as I have. No, I can understand that. And like for instance, if I had met you at your clinic and I was your nurse, and if you told me, like, say if I came there, I was new and I had experience and you didn't know me, it's the first time seeing me, I introduced myself to you because you was one of my patients, and you say, and maybe you may be used to someone else before I got there, and I'm a new employee, but you don't know me, but I have experience. But you don't care about that because you don't know me.
Yeah.
But the point is, if I came over and saw you introduce myself, I'll be your nurse. I'm gonna put you on. If you told me I'd rather have such and such and hook me up, I wouldn't get mad or look at you any different. I would understand because I just got there. But in order for me to break that ice, I got to introduce myself. I still got to take care of you. Even though if I didn't put you on, I want you to feel comfortable with me.
Exactly.
So, but I've seen some people, when someone tells them that, like if you was to tell someone else that, they would get all upset and like you done did something wrong.
Yes. And
Have
then I
you
did,
experienced that?
yes, because I felt like I hurt one particular nurse, Brittany, because I did a lot of research on how you get those lumps. And I mean, I could show you this.
Sure, wait a minute. Let me put you solo. Okay.
That is my fistula.
Oh my God. You don't look like you have any bumps on it. I
Exactly.
don't even look like you have an access.
Exactly. So what I did, I think that's how I really met you was on a post on one of the kidney sites that I had said that I did every 3 months I did maintenance on it. Like I called it Roto-Rooter.
Okay, okay.
And I have to say I never infiltrated, never swelled up. And after dialysis, I'd go straight home, do 15 minutes of ice, 15 minutes of warm, and then once it closed, I would use cocoa butter.
Right,
And
right. Once
I
the
believe,
scab over.
yes, so I believe that's how it was so nice. But my techs actually, the tech that I loved, Ish, his head was shaved, and you could see when he would cannulate me, beads of sweat coming out of his head. And if
Yeah,
he
I would do the same thing. Right.
and if he couldn't get it, there was another guy, Jerry, who was excellent, but he'd be on lunch in the parking lot in his car, and they would have to wake. They would go wake him up, and he would come to it. But they actually sweat, and I thought they would hate me, but I got to be honest. I visit them like once a month. I have them on my Facebook. Like they don't dislike me for it.
No, no, I would love it. I mean, if I was there, I would have loved to have met you. Unfortunately, if I was working at the clinic, because you seem very nice and knowledgeable. I mean, and for you to do your own research,
Yes,
I applaud you. That's being empowered, not to just go in and let anybody tell you anything about
exactly.
your arm. And that's why your arm doesn't even look like it has an access
Yes,
compared to what you may see. And see, that's the thing. If you rotate your sites, and not stick in the same spot all the time, that would prevent 95% of getting those aneurysms.
See, that's what I told them. Although it's more painful to start in a new site, to me it was worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if they keep going in the same spot, you have to admit you don't feel it.
Yeah. And see, I believe that's one reason why people don't like to go in another spot because of that pain. What you just
Absolutely.
said, they go in the same spot. And I try to explain to people when I was working that you can't do that because of this is going to be the outcome. But with some patients, it just goes in one ear and out the other. And I mean, you can't force it on them. Only thing you could do is just try to keep educating so that don't happen.
And it's being your own advocate. Like I went online, I researched. I could take that machine apart and put it back together. That's how much I know about the machine now. And dialysis didn't really bother me. It was just the sitting. Like I learned,
Right.
if you put the machine on profile one, it drains all your fluid in the first hour so that at the end I don't go home and faint, because I used to drive myself back and forth. And I used to leave the clinic and just pass out on the floor and faint.
Wow.
So I read and read and read, and I found out that if you set it to profile one, it's just easier on the body.
Well, I particularly like profile two. But
Really?
yeah, yeah. I love that you know about your machine like that. I mean, I'm just like getting goosebumps. But no, the profile one, it pulls off slowly throughout the whole treatment, right?
No, the profile one does most of the draining in the first hour.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. But the two is the sliding scale.
Exactly. So, like in other words, when I would get up off the chair, I wouldn't have the low blood pressure and feel weak as soon as I
Right, because
stood
most
up.
of the fluid is poured off in the beginning where your blood pressure is high, and as the treatment goes down, the UF rate kind of lowers down, and that kind of like near the end, it starts pulling really slow.
Exactly.
Now, how important? See, you did your research. Now, if you go to a lot of these sites and on a lot of our shows, we had people who mentioned that they pour too much fluid come off and they cramp, they get nauseated, vomit. But can you just talk about if one would research, if they have that ability to learn the machine and learn their treatment, that they could reduce a lot of those symptoms?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You like I said, you have to be your own advocate. You have to know all these things, and also like diet helped me a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Mm-hmm.
stood away from. I mean, I did it strict. I really did it strict, and I have to say it was not a bad experience. I'm almost glad I went through it because I have such an appreciation on life that I never had before.
I know you hear this a lot, but I want to be honest. I It doesn't even look like you're on dialysis or had a transplant. In fact, before the other day, I had to ask you if you were on dialysis or a transplant or a donor because I tried to look at your site to get some type of idea because I figure I should have known because you had mentioned in one of your posts about that, but I didn't even think about that. But do you hear that a lot that you don't look like you had a transplant or been on dialysis?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, my surgeon that put the kidney in, like when he goes over my lab work, it's like right now I'm functioning. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but right now, this is functioning as a person with two healthy kidneys, and I believe it's all in the diet and your outlook.
Mm,
I
wow.
look at this as a bad situation. Like, now I can walk out my front door and everything is beautiful, and I appreciate little things that, I never thought twice about.
Mm-hmm.
Even the transplant itself.
Right.
And within 2 weeks, I was out driving, and it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. Yeah. Now, how long were you on dialysis before you got your transplant?
14 months.
14 months. Was that the longest 14 months ever in your life, or you just dealt with it one day at a time?
I dealt with it. What bothered me was sitting there for 3.5 hours because I'm kind of hyper,
Okay.
and I just couldn't sit. But other than that, it just, I knew it would be okay. I wasn't going to go for transplant because honestly, I didn't think I'd pass the health testing because I smoked cigarettes since I was 13. So I thought I was going to have a blockage somewhere or something. But my nephrologist would come by once a week while I'm sitting in the chair, and he'd tell me, like, Marianne, you don't belong here. And he pushed me to go for the evaluation, which I aced it.
Wow.
And like
Were you surprised?
I was shocked. I was literally shocked. I was not even going to attempt transplant.
Wow.
And then, like I said, I get the letter saying I'm on the list, and 7 weeks later, 4:30 in the morning, I get the call.
You said 7 weeks later.
7 weeks after I got on the list.
Are you serious?
Honest to God, they told me
Oh
it's
my
3 to 5.
God.
So 4:30 in the morning comes, I get the call, and she's like, "Hi, this is Lisa from Stony Brook. We have a 23-year-old, amazing, healthy kidney." Steve, my reaction, and I always dreamt about what I was going to say when I got the call. My reaction was, "Shut up." And, and I'm like, "Man, shut up." But that's all I could keep saying.
7 weeks after you got notified that you were on the list, like a month and a half, pretty much, you got the call.
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, you got people who, wow. Wow. I mean, have you thought that this has to be something more than just getting it 7 weeks, that you'll call for something much bigger than yourself? Have that crossed your mind?
I think about it every day, every night. Definitely has crossed my mind.
Because I'm sure it's people here watching that's on the list that's been on there 5 years, 10 years, 15 that's still waiting.
I almost feel guilty for that.
That's what I was going to ask you. And you shouldn't be, because everybody has their own story. I mean, you didn't feel guilty when you got diagnosed. At that point, you needed a life-saving organ. And just your story, however it is, you didn't do anything different than anyone else did.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you went out and paid for it. You're not a celebrity.
I didn't even advertise like a lot of people do on Facebook. I didn't even advertise. My son had called to be my donor, and I refused it.
Right.
And I never once said, "Why me?" Because if why me, then why you?
Right.
You know what I mean? I just accepted it, and until today, I mean, I'm stunned. I remember they did a dialysis treatment while they were checking to see how compatible it was, which it was 6 out of 6 with the antibodies. I did the last dialysis treatment, and I cried through the whole 3 hours, I almost felt like a kid died, like for me.
Mm.
It was tough.
Right. No, but you said it was a 6 out of 6 match?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
This is all, I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just hearing your story. I mean, 14 months on dialysis, and then 7 weeks after receiving the notification you was on the list, you get the call at 4:30 in the morning.
I'm still shocked.
Wow. I mean, I'm sure where you live at, I mean, New York, it's a lot of people on the list up there. How does that happen?
I got the chills also right now just thinking about it. I have no clue.
Did your nephrologist or the surgeon say like you beat the odds or you're lucky? Because like you said in the beginning, they told you it was going to be what three
3 to 5.
3 to 5 year wait, and it was basically 7 weeks after you got on the list.
Steve, I think of it as blessed. Like I have an angel on my shoulder. I mean, the same thing with the anti-rejection drugs. Like I read on all these sites that we're on, all these symptoms and side effects people have. I have nothing.
Are you on anti-rejection meds?
I'm on a high dose of Prograf, 11 milligrams a day,
Sure.
and 360 of my Foric, but no prednisone.
Okay, and nothing else.
As far as anti-rejection, no.
So you only take 2 anti-rejection meds.
Yes.
And do you take like any other meds?
Yes, I do. I take blood pressure. I take thyroid, vitamin
Right,
D.
but I mean, Marianne, you're amazing. I mean, seriously, because a lot of people talk. Wait a minute, I'm just kind of
Speechless.
yeah, I'm speechless. Really, I'm really speechless. This is why I wish I had my partner with me, Tamika Moore. But I mean, most people you see with the steroids may have the side effects of the moon phase or
Oh
the
yeah.
I don't see that with you. That's what I said.
Well, I don't do prednisone.
Now, why is that? If some people could have to take it and you don't take it, can you?
Well, I also did researches with the surgeons before I applied for transplant, and in uh, my doctor and the whole team, that hospital, they don't believe in them. And recently, I asked him. I says, I'm on a zillion Facebook uh, websites on Facebook, and everybody's taking prednisone. So he told me that he felt that although it's an amazing anti-rejection, that he felt it would in the long term be worse for me. I mean, I did prednisone for 3 days for pneumonia last year, and I couldn't live with it. I mean, if my dogs didn't walk by me quick enough, I wanted to eat them. That's how hungry I was. I was mean. I was nasty. So, I mean, I thank God I don't have to take it.
But that also goes to another point. Second opinions. And what I mean by that, you got places where people get their transplant and they got to be put on a high dose of prednisone. Now, here it is where you go, they don't even believe in it. So that means there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly. 3 days, the first 3 days, because I went home on the morning of the fourth day after the surgery, I did get a high doses of IV steroid.
Okay.
But I didn't feel any effects because I had the morphine pump and, I was just out of it for those 3 days. But I tell you, my labs can't be any better.
So now you're not on any prednisone. Now,
None.
If your match wasn't a 6 out of 6, would they still not put you on prednisone?
That's just not their policy. They don't use it. I mean, he has 1 or 2 patients that has went into mild rejection and he put them on prednisone, but as the norm, he doesn't use it.
Wow. Incredible. That's why we do these shows, because everybody has a different story. With kidney disease, it's not just one way. Let me just share this. We had a gentleman on last year. His name is Chef Juvan Chaffee, and he's a chef, and he also had a kidney transplant. And not sure how soon after he had the transplant, but I believe till this day he doesn't take any transplant medicine.
I've heard that on
He doesn't take
Facebook.
any. And it's been more than 10 years now.
I've
No,
heard that.
no transplant medicine. And he had a transplant. He said he left that at the altar and his faith in God. But, you know, you probably have a lot of people, if you would say that in groups, will probably like chastise or throw out some negative comments behind that,
Absolutely.
not knowing that again, it's more than one way to skin a cat.
Exactly. Yeah, but I do get ripped for that. That honestly, there's times I called my team and I'm like, "Are you sure we're doing the right thing?"
Uh, and see, that's what I'm saying. You always can't listen to people on social media. I mean, it's you know, we don't know everything. Only thing I reason I know what I know is because I've been doing dialysis 33 years, and I still don't know a lot. But what I do know and what I experience and what the spirit tells me to say or however I do it, it seems to be the right thing with
Right.
with with a lot of people that I talk about. I mean, talk to about this. And again, what works for you works for you.
Exactly.
So you
Exactly.
froze up again a little bit, Marianne.
How's that?
Normally, when that happens, it's the internet. There you
It,
go.
it could okay. Could be Wi-Fi because
Oh,
I'm pretty far out east.
right. I want to put a comment up by Deborah Carpenter. Thanks for um, comment, Deborah. She says her hospital does not use prednisone either. Toledo University, just 3 days after transplant.
There are quite a few, and that's why I did my research on all the different hospitals around on their protocols,
Mm-hmm.
and I found most did use it. And I know me. You know, I'm like a nervous person as it is, so the prednisone just it put me over the edge.
So, what made you research hospitals and what the? I mean, how did that? How did you even formulate that thought? Just dealing with kidney failure and trying
because
to get a transplant.
because I have to know everything. You know, like I don't get me wrong, I trust in my team, but still, like you said, everybody's different. So I needed to know myself, and I needed to know what everybody else taking care of me was all about. So I mean, we have the internet at our fingertips. So do your own research, be your own advocate, and of course, take their opinions.
Right, right, right. Now, when you were on dialysis for 14 months, you said you really never had any bad effects. So I mean, you never experienced any cramping or any nausea or vomiting?
Well, once in the very beginning, like I didn't realize that when you stand up, after treatment, that
Oh,
your
right,
blood pressure drops. So I got in the car and I'm driving home and I stopped at a 7-Eleven for a pizza and I walked in and I just started sweating. I blacked out and I woke up on the floor with like 10 people around me. But that was it. Then I knew. Like I used to take a salted pretzel with me, and like a half hour before my treatment was up, I'd eat the pretzel, maybe a sip of pickle juice, and I was fine.
right.
I drove myself home, came home, took care of a newborn.
Wow, wow,
You have to learn your body, and, because we're all different.
right. Now, before you got kidney disease, were you taking care of yourself like that?
Yes. Yes. Like I've been vegetarian for 17 years.
Oh, okay.
And,
Okay.
yes. And as a matter of fact, my surgeon told me at my last visit 3 months ago, have a piece of steak once a month. And I tried it. My body doesn't even know how to process it anymore.
Do you get sick when that happens?
It's not sick, but it just takes 2 days to digest.
Wow.
So if you look at my page, you'll see I post all my food. Like
Oh, I'm going to that because I'm trying to be. I, I mean, I'm not strictly vegetarian. I don't eat any meat. Um, I do eat seafood, but I definitely need some type of vegetarian morning meal or something. That do you post that on your page as well? Like
everything
breakfast?
I eat, I post and with pictures but I do eat since the transplant. I do eat fish. I'll dabble in chicken because he asked me to. The doctor asked me to. But for the most part, I'm vegetarian. And like I said, you go to my page and I have the recipes. I have the pictures. I mean, I can make a chickpea burger or a black bean burger look like and feel like you're eating meat. Even a portobello mushroom, you'll feel like
Wow.
you'll feel like you're eating a steak.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely going to stay in contact with you after this. Wow, that's awesome. Now, let me ask you. Okay, in the first place, why you went on to be a vegetarian because you didn't want to eat any products. But how does that feel now? I mean, in the process of what the poultry industry is doing with these chickens by putting extra steroids in them
Yeah.
and doing all this. I mean, do you give any thought into that when you do eat a piece of chicken, maybe here and there?
My thought has nothing to do with the process and all. My thought is the cruelty to animals. Like I've seen videos and like how the animals get treated.
Right. Okay.
That's what turned me off. Not so much the process or the steroids. It was more my heart.
Okay. Okay. Wow. That's awesome. So when you got that call, well, first, when you got the letter saying that you were on the list, did you think, well, here we go, it's going to be 3 to 5 years? Did you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I already at that point had learned to deal with it. Like my clinics were like already my family.
Mhm.
And as I said, for whatever reason, the treatment really didn't bother me.
So let me ask you this: with all that research that you've done, what made you not decide to do it at home?
I,
Because you would have been a damn good candidate.
I know, but I think it was fear of if something happened. Like once that machine beeped, I could get up and fix the machine, but having to unhook myself and because there was a time once in my first dialysis clinic where my pressure dropped to 50 over 40 and
Wow.
there was not a tech or a nurse in sight because
Are
in the
you
beginning
serious?
when I first started, I was doing like 11 to like 1 in the morning. That's the only spot they had. So,
Wow, 11 to 1? How
yes.
many shifts were they running?
Oh, that they were inundated with shifts. It was crazy. But
I
at the
never heard of 11 to 1, 11 at night.
yes,
Wow.
yes. So they were all, I guess, in the break room and my pressure dropped. I passed out. As a matter of fact, I started bleeding through the needles. And there was this guy next to me in the chair that had to unhook himself and get somebody to help me. And that made me feel this was in the very beginning, and it made me feel like, what if that happened at home?
Mm.
Because I'm pretty
Wow.
much an on my own person. Like I drove myself for the transplant. I drove myself to get the permacath put in. I drove my
Damn. Marianne, you don't have nobody to help you with stuff like
I
that?
when I got the chest catheter, And after it was in, they says to me, "Where's your ride?" I says, "Oh, in the waiting room." So I didn't know what to do. So I went in the waiting room, and there was a gentleman waiting for his wife to get her procedure. And I said, "Could you do me a favor and just like hold my hand and walk me to my car?" So they thought he was my husband, and I got to my car and I went home.
I like that. I mean, I would have done something like that myself. No, hey, you got to do what you got to do, Marianne. I ain't mad
Exactly.
at you. I would have did the same damn thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. Wow, I like
I didn't
that.
tell anybody that I was in kidney failure until it was time for transplant.
Right. Wow. Wow.
I didn't want to worry anybody.
I'm sure. Um. Wow. So when you got the call and they told you to come in, how did you get home after they discharged you? You drove yourself home?
No, that was different. Like once I had the surgery, everybody came
Oh, okay.
because then I let everybody know. I mean, my sons knew, some people knew,
Right, right, right.
but as a matter of fact, my son, when he came to pick up my car at the hospital, actually seen the helicopter on the roof with my kidney.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's wow.
So I finally, about 3 months ago, had the heart to reach out to my donor's family. As a matter of fact, my coordinator called me a couple of weeks ago and asked if they could use my letter in their newsletter. So I let them, because I mean that's a heartfelt letter that took me 2 years to write.
Hmm.
So now I'm praying that I hear back from them.
Hmm. If you don't mind sharing, could you share maybe some of what you said to them?
Well, I could actually get it, look for it. I have it filed and I could send it to you, but like
Oh, okay.
offhand, I don't remember.
Right, right.
I would write one line each month for like, and it took about 2 years to finish it.
Wow.
I mean,
2
that's a
years
hard
to
letter
finish
to
the
write.
letter. Wow. How long have you had the transplant?
I got May 10th, 2017, so it's like 2 years and 3 months.
Hmm. Wow. So did they give you the backdrop of his story, the transplants coordinator, on
Excuse
how he
me?
passed?
A car accident she had.
Wow. And he was a donor.
Yes.
Oh, she.
Yes.
Hmm. God bless her.
I, I, as happy as I am still when I think of that, it's my heart.
Hmm.
I really, really hope to hear back from her parents.
Wow. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure you will. I'm sure it's probably, in their own time.
It's tough, and
Where,
I'm
where do they? Where
2 years.
are they from?
I have no clue.
Oh, okay.
I have no clue. I wrote the letter. I gave it to my counselor, and that was it.
Hmm.
But I know I lost a 16-year-old son, so I know what they're going through. And I'm just being patient and waiting and praying that I hear from them.
Wow. So, are you now that you have your transplant? How has life been for you since?
Life is amazing. Like
Hmm.
like I said earlier, you just learn to appreciate everything. I feel like I just started living, honestly. I never felt this good in my life.
Wow. I want to read a comment. I think this is very interesting by Deborah Carpenter. She said she was on PD for 18 months, called Toledo through Alliance for paired kidney donation June 29th. Got my kidney July 18th. My husband is preparing to give his kidney to, I believe, someone from Italy. They will fly to Toledo. Another kidney is going to the UK. use your internet, people. The answers for you are out there.
She's right.
Do you think that's where you found your answers?
Oh no, not me, but I'm watching. Like I look at all these websites and
Well, no, I'm saying just using the internet. Do you feel like you got some of your answers, questions answered and information that you needed to know through the internet?
100%.
Wow.
I've learned a lot.
How did you um how did you like when you went through all the information know which was the good versus the bad information?
I just went by my gut,
Mm-hmm.
because this was all a shock. I didn't see it coming, and I just relied on the resources I can get online.
Right. So when you were on dialysis, did you adhere to? I think you said you did adhere to the renal diet. Were you was still a vegetarian at that time as well, right?
And which made it very difficult because a lot of the things I ate were full of phosphorus and potassium, and it was difficult. But I stuck 100%. Like I really never put on more than 2 kilos, and if I did, it was a problem
Mm-hmm.
because they just couldn't pull too much off me.
How did you get most of your protein?
Beans,
Right.
basically beans, and a lot of those were like if you bought canned beans, they were full of phosphorus and
Right. So how did you get the phosphorus down? If it's almost like if you try to use one source for like protein, that it may have something else that may affect you on the other end, like the phosphorus.
well, they used to make me eat some kind of a protein bar in this chair in
Yeah,
treatment, and I didn't like them because I don't like anything sweet, and they were sweet, and I'd hide them in my dialysis bag. So they got smart and they watched me eat them. They stood there and watched me eat them. So I'm sure that helped too.
yeah. I know exactly what bars you're talking about. We used to have them, and they had the drink called Liquicil, and it was full of protein. It come in grape, mango, lemon, and then those protein bars they would have like strawberry.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think of the other ones they had, but yeah, I tried them. They they not the best tasting things.
It tasted like eating cardboard.
Uh-huh. I hear that a lot.
So then one day, one of my techs caught me, stashing it in my Davita bag, and there's like 12 bars in there, and that's when they smartened up, and I had to chew it in front of them.
Wow. So even though you had those many bars in there, were your intentions to eat them at a later time or just
No, my intentions was trying to get my protein elsewhere.
right, right, absolutely. So how big is Suffolk County?
It's there's a lot of people here,
Hmm.
a
Are
lot.
there a lot of clinics, dialysis clinics?
Uh, they're pretty close together. I would say about 25 minutes apart. I started off in Fresenius and I ended up in Davita.
How did that happen?
I just, although I love the people, I just wasn't happy there.
Mm.
That's actually where that episode happened when my blood pressure dropped, and but
But
still I love them. I was just there 2 weeks ago to see them, and because like I said, they're my family now.
right, but this what I couldn't believe. You said, and are you for real? You said another patient took himself off of dialysis and came over and assisted you.
And well, he got up to get me help, and this gentleman can't walk, mind you. He has to walk with a walker.
Mm-hmm.
I also went to see him last week too.
So he returned his blood and disconnected itself,
Exactly.
got up and went to go get this. And what did they say about to him? I mean, I never heard no story like that. I mean, that's almost like you could have sued these people for negligence.
I went through channels for other reasons there, and I wound up in touch with I don't know if it was the owner, the C, but in Germany, this was for Fresenius,
Right.
and I let them know. I mean, there were times, and again, I love the people, but there were times where the padding that your legs are on, it was gone. No padding. And I'm laying there with my legs actually black and blue from being on metal. And when I
Oh
asked for
my God.
help, I'm telling you, Steve, and when I asked for help, they put like the paper jackets they wear, which of course is not going to make a difference between the metal on my legs sitting there for 3 hours. And
So instead of getting new chairs, they just let a person get black and blue on their legs.
exactly. However, that
Wow.
night, I went I again online. I went online and I wrote a letter to Fresenius, and they put me in touch with somebody in Germany. That Monday, we had new chairs.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous. I
yeah.
mean, and that's just where you're at. We're not talking about the thousand other clinics across the United States that could be experiencing something similar like that.
I'm sure it was just that facility because they actually closed down for over a year for similar incidents.
Mm-hmm.
So after that is when I left for DaVita, but I still go back to see them because I still care about the other patients. And
Right. No, I used to work for the Vita here in Baltimore, and there was one particular DaVita I worked at was DaVita 25th Street, and this was back in 2014. Now, it wouldn't look this way now if you go there, but they had the audacity to do renovation while patients were still there getting their treatment, but they did it at night. So when you come in the morning, you see the remnants of dust and
uh,
in the air. You see it dust on the TV bars. You know how they had a TV that come out from the walls
yes,
on the I can't think of that arm thing, but dust on the chairs. And then they even tore up the clinic floor and paid for about 6 months. It was just concrete slab on the whole treatment floor and mold in the back where the water system treatment was at. It was off the chain. And
I could top that. Uh, the, the day that I had the chair with the broken footrest, for some reason, I'm sitting there with my arm out, and I just blood started coming out of my access. So much that it went through the side of the chair, all over the chair. So they
Mhm.
came and they Cloroxed up the chair. However, Monday came and I went back, and when they were moved the old chair to put the new chair in, there was my dried bloods there still.
Mm,
So, needless to say, that's a big part of the reason why I left them.
right, right. Wow. Yeah, Deborah says you're a rebel, Marianne.
Pat me
No, but
good.
you would be you would be a great advocate. Has anyone told you that?
Everybody,
Yeah, you
everybody.
would be an excellent advocate, and I hope you do, um, consider or seek into that. I mean, because it's a lot of patients that can use your knowledge
If
that.
I knew how to go about it, I would love it.
Mhm. Are there any support groups in your area
I
for
believe
kidney disease?
I believe in Manhattan,
Okay.
but I intend to attend the Transplant Games of America in Jersey in 2020. So maybe there's somebody out there that could lead me in the right direction.
Oh, you're gonna be there?
Yes.
Okay, I think we're gonna come up there because I've been hearing that it's gonna be up in New Jersey 2020.
Yes. I hope you can make it.
Oh yeah, we'll see how we can get in. Does it cost to get in?
I don't know. This is the first time that I'd be attending,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll private message you the link to, to read up on it. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. I mean, I've been meeting quite a few transplant patients from different states, and it's amazing because I feel like they're my brothers and sisters, and it's
And
pretty cool.
what competition would you be participating in?
Swimming.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're a swimmer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I swim. Let's put it that way.
Hmm. Did you ever swim in competition?
No, but I had some experience with junior lifeguard, so I'm pretty good. I don't need to win. I just
You just want to participate.
yes,
Right, right. No, but it's also good if you could, come out of there with some type of medal for your achievement.
that would be awesome.
Oh, absolutely. Wow. Let me ask you, before you got diagnosed, did you know anything about kidney disease or did you see, did you know how big that it was?
Steve, I had no idea, no clue how important the kidney was to our body because I knew you could just give one away and live on one. I I was shocked at how important it is.
Wow. Wow. Do you think up where you're at, there needs to be more education, or you think there's enough already?
Absolutely needs more awareness, more education. People just don't know, just like I didn't know.
Wow, especially with the medication,
Exactly.
because most people, the majority, not all, but I would say maybe 80 to 90% of most kidney disease cases come from diabetes and hypertension.
Exactly. And I try very hard to let people know how important the hydration is
Oh
because
yeah,
I never knew that either.
yeah.
I mean, and all these little things are what put us in the situation we're in when they're avoidable.
Hmm.
If it's
Hmm.
diabetes or high blood pressure, that's different.
Right, right.
But there are ways to avoid it. And
I mean, you're right. Absolutely right, Marianne. Well, we're kind of like down to
I see
the
that.
final hour, but I wanted to ask you, could you leave, because you definitely have an inspirational story, but
Thank
could you
you.
leave any words of encouragement to someone who may be watching this broadcast that could be taking Advil, Motrin, or leave just like you did, or anyone who's already on dialysis waiting that it's been on for 2 or 3 years that's still waiting for a transplant. Any words of encouragement you can leave with them?
That you got to have faith, and there is a rainbow at the end of the tunnel. I 100% believe that we go through this for a reason. For me, it was to have a better outlook on life, but there's always hope. Never give up,
Hmm.
and
Absolutely.
faith.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a lot of postings recently and in a lot of these groups where you have caregivers may speak that their loved one, they're tired of this process. They're thinking about giving up, stopping dialysis. What could you say to caregivers who deal with a loved one that may have this disease and how they could better help them, not fall into that type of thinking?
See, that's a tough one. Like I spend half my nights not sleeping, private messaging with people that want to give up, and I try to talk them out of it. But it depends. Like I just read this morning, somebody's grandfather at 96 wants to quit and they're trying to talk him out of it. I mean, there are times when you have to let them make their own decision, but
True. True. That's true because what they may want may be totally different what you may want, and you're basically, well, not you per se, but one may be going off their own feelings and not really thinking about the person and what they're dealing with, and they may be looking at the quality of life and everything
exactly.
that centers around that.
But never give up. There's always hope.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Anybody want to say hello to, Marianne? Huh? Can you hear me? Hey, Marianne.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I was saying, is anybody you want to say hello to?
All of them, all my transplant sisters and brothers. I love you. Hang in there. It gets better. I promise.
Right. All right, Marianne. Well, again, thank you for coming on Sunday Morning Transplant Coffee Talk. It's really been great talking with you, and
Same
I
here.
look forward to talking with you some more, and possibly coming on our other shows that we have.
That
We
would be
had the
awesome.
Warriors Quest with Jared A. Brown, where we like to bring on transplant recipients to co-host that show with them. And I think you would make a great co-host.
I was watching him last night with his little kidney that he got from Amazon.
Well, no, that was Mike Cadet,
Oh, that's right.
and he had that's his show, Global Kidney Health. Um, but he's the head of that group, Kidney Donors. I can't think of the rest of it, but the membership is like 23,000 people in that group. And he's the one who created that group.
And this is Jared.
No, Mike, the one you saw last
Oh,
night.
okay.
Jared is a guy, a Warriors Quest. He's always upbeat and say,
With
I'm
a
back.
smile, a constant smile.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So I'll definitely coordinate with him and see. Are you available most Wednesdays?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It would be the same way. I would send you the link to his show, and you already have the app on your
Right.
phone. So you would just have to just click on his link and you'd be right on.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
All right. So I want to reach out to you and hopefully maybe something this week, this Wednesday.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Marianne. Again, thank you for sharing your story. Absolutely great story. Very inspirational. And I just hope this touched someone to, for them to do their own research and know that it's more than one way to skin a cat. You don't always have to go off of one doctor's opinion. That's all they are, is opinion.
Exactly. Oh, I hope so. I mean, if I could help one person, that would make my day.
Absolutely. All right, Marianne. Well, I'll be in touch.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you
All
soon.
right. Okay. Take care.
Have a
Thank you.
great day.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. This was a great show with Marianne and very inspirational. And I mean, that should tell you, if you do your own research, that you may find something that works for you instead of just going with the same status quo with this disease. So, man, wow, that was a great show. Great show. So tune in tonight from 8 to 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for the Lisa Baxter Show. She's going to have the 411 on information for you. So until then, thanks for watching. Have a blessed and encouraged day. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful Sunday fall day that we're having here in Baltimore. And we'll see you tonight. Thanks, everyone. God bless.